Now we're going to do a couple of fiscal policy problems. Here we have a hypothetical closed economy, meaning it doesn't do international trade. Again, that just makes it a little simpler, in which households spend 0.75% or 70, well, wait, time out. 75 cents of each additional dollar they earn and save the remaining 25 cents. So, in other words, their marginal propensity to consume is 0.75, meaning they spend 75% out of each dollar. Okay. And that means their marginal propensity to save is simply the complement of 0.75, which is 0.25. And it tells us that in the problem. So you remember the multiplier is just 1 over 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume. Okay. Well, here it says, suppose the government in this economy decides to increase government purchases by 250 billion. The increase in government spending will lead an increase in income, creating an initial change in consumption equal to, okay, so they spend 250 billion, and that is received as income scattered throughout the economy. So what does that first round look like? The 250 billion is received as income, and people are going to be saving 25% and spending 75%. So they're going to receive this 250 billion, and the next round, they're going to spend 75% of that. Okay, so 250 billion. Whoops, what the world? Okay. Try that again. 250 billion times 0.75 equals, well, let's see. 197.5. Okay, 187.5 billion. So that's how we get that one, that first round. This increases income yet again. Okay, so they're going to spend 197.5 billion overall, economy-wide, and leading to a second change in consumption to what? Well, we multiply that times 0.75, the marginal propensity to consume, and that gives us 140.63. I keep hitting this button on my stylus. 63. Okay. It's got a button right where my hand wants to be, where my finger wants to be. Okay. Now it says the total change in demand resulting from the initial change in government spending is the total change in demand. Now it wants to know, after this ripples through round after round after round after round, what is the total increase in demand going to be? Well, that's going to be the multiplier, 1 over 1 minus 0.75, 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume, times 250, that initial change in government spending. So 1 minus 0.75, that's 0.25. Divided into 1, that equals 4. 4 times 250 equals 1,000 billion, which is 1 trillion. If you're like me, I'm not used to dealing with these big numbers. So, but the answer is in trillions. Okay. Now down here, it says use the green line, this one. Okay, well, let's go up here. The following graph shows the aggregate demand curve for this economy before the change in government spending. Okay, so here's aggregate demand before the $250 billion increase in government spending. It says use the green line to plot the new aggregate demand curve after the multiplier effect takes place. Well, it increases the aggregate demand by 1 trillion. Here's outputs in trillions. So it's going to go from 4 to 5, from 5 to 7, whatever. It's going to go that much. So it's just, so pick a spot like right here that's going to shift to there now. It's going to be 1 trillion more. From this spot, it's going to be out here now, 1 trillion more. So let's get that in here. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's see. We got it from there to there, 1 trillion. 1 trillion. Got to make sure we have the same slope. Okay, so it's 1 trillion more at each spot. So there's the shift in aggregate demand right there. So we got it. Now we have the use of discretionary policy to stabilize the economy, otherwise known as fine-tuning. So this isn't when things are disastrous. So it's very clear government should get involved when there's a collapse. Okay, the Great Depression, the stock crash of 87, when it collapsed by 22%. Okay, those are clear cut. Question is, should we try to fine tune? Meaning, let's say the economy is growing at 2% instead of 3%. Should we try to stimulate it? The risks, the size of the stimulus, the timing of the stimulus. We could overshoot it, actually. We could actually introduce instability. Okay, so those are the risks involved there. So anyway, let's take a look. Should the government use monetary and fiscal policy in an effort to stabilize the economy? The following question addresses the issue of how monetary and fiscal policies affect the economy, as well as the pros and cons of using these tools to combat economic fluctuations. The following graph plots hypothetical aggregate demand, short-run aggregate supply, and long-run aggregate supply. Curves for the U.S. economy in January 2026. Suppose the government chooses to intervene in order to return this economy to the natural level of output by using, let's see what the choices are, an expansionary or a contractionary policy. Well, let's see. Here's long-run equilibrium. This is the natural level of output right here, 2026. It's, by implication, it's the natural rate of unemployment. So this is where we want to be, right here. But the economy is in equilibrium back here at 25. So we don't want to be at 25. We want to be at 26. So aggregate demand, that's what the policymakers can try to affect. And that's through fiscal policy, through monetary policy. That's it. Shift that aggregate demand curve. And if they're going to shift it anywhere, it's going to be to the right. To the right is expansionary. Shifting it to the left is contractionary. Okay, so they're going to use expansionary policy. It says, depending on which curve is affected by the government policy, shift either the aggregate supply curve or the aggregate demand curve to reflect the change that would successfully restore the natural level of output. Well, I guess I just answered that one. You could wait a long time for the economy to correct itself. This is a tough one because, like I've said before, and you've read before, that revising inflationary expectations down takes a while. Our mindset is not for wages to fall, but to rise, or prices to go down, but to go up. So this is a long, long process. So, and the government doesn't have really any direct impact on the aggregate supply curve, short-run aggregate supply. So that's out of their hands, at least directly. They could use credible policies to help that along if people will trust those policies and trust what they're saying. That's also an issue. So really, they're after aggregate demand. So that's going to be that shift right there. And let's see. Suppose that in January 2026, the government successfully carries out the type of policy necessary to restore the natural level of output described in the previous question. Okay, so they've shifted aggregate demand to the right, and we're back in equilibrium right there. We're back at the long run natural level of output. March 2026, consumer confidence increases. Okay, so in January, they carry out this aggregate demand shift, but later, after they do it, for whatever reason, doesn't matter, consumer confidence increases. So again, aggregate demand is C plus I plus G plus net exports equals aggregate demand, and consumer confidence has increased. Therefore, that means people are feeling good. Consumers out there feeling really good about life and about the prospects of the future, and that translates in more consumption spending, our biggest component of aggregate demand. And so that's going to shift some more. See, they've already put it back where they wanted it right there. But then this happens, leading to an increase in consumer spending due to the, well, let's see what that says. Due to, okay, well, you know, I'm doing these for you. That's the thing. Maybe I feel guilty because I'm not there. I feel bad because I'm not there. And as compensation, I'm literally giving away the store here. I keep thinking, no, stop. Don't do all of it. But then I just keep on doing it. Okay, so anyway, whatever. Lags. Why stop now, right? Due to the lags associated with implementing monetary and fiscal policy, the impact the government's new policy will likely. Okay, so they've shifted it back here, but this is going to keep on going. Now, they didn't anticipate the increase in consumer confidence. They should have, you know, once they shift things back and things look better, they should have, but, you know, so this is going to shift some more. So they're going to overshoot it. Push the economy beyond the natural level of output. Okay, well, you're welcome for doing all your homework for you. I think we'll leave one One for you. Using Paul. Okay, these things, I'll let you look these up. Okay. This one's pretty easy. Which of the following policies are an example of automatic stabilizers? Uninsurance employment benefits, personal income taxes, corporate income taxes. Well, I don't know. You'll have to, I'm not going to do that. Let's see, which of the following arguments favor active stabilization policy? Okay, what are the arguments in favor? Well, I'll let you struggle with that. I've done enough of it. So that's it. Over and out.